So these nights is getting weirder and weirder. Check this out.
Look at what my sister see aliens are here.
What is that?
Number 10, the Milky Way signal. On April 28, 2020, two ground-based radio telescopes detected an intense pulse of radio waves within the Milky Way. It was the first time a fast radio blast, aka FRB, had ever been detected within our galaxy, and despite only lasting a millisecond, it was almost impossible to miss. Located just 30,000 light years away from Earth, the FRB was picked up by the Canadian Hydrogen Intensity Mapping Experiment, CHIME, and the Survey for Transient Astronomical Radio Emission 2.
Why y'all think these things are showing up now all of a sudden? You know what I mean? You ever question that?
There too. Now CHIME wasn't even looking in the right direction, and we still saw it loud and clear in our peripheral vision, said Kiyoshi Masui, assistant professor of physics at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Stare 2 also saw it, and it's only a set of a few radio antennae literally made out of cake pans. April 2020's discovery was also notable for being the most energetic radio blast that astronomers had ever recorded in the Milky Way. But what made it most exciting is that scientists are now closer to determining the origin of FRBs. They've been billions of light years away, making them a lot harder to study, but now there's one that's close by. Number 9, the WOW signal. In 1977, astronomer Jerry Amon was researching at The Ohio State University when an incredible and unexplainable radio signal was detected using the school's Big Ear telescope. In those days, information was run through what was called an IBM 1130 mainframe computer before being printed on paper and then studied by hand. Upon reviewing the findings, Jerry came across something he had never seen before. There in the vertical column was the sequence 6EQUJ5. Jerry was amazed and immediately circled the sequence and wrote "Wow" right beside it. Hence the name. The signal they picked up had come from nearly 220 million light years away, and there was no explanation as to how or why a radio signal could be detected from that distance. It immediately became a sensation in both the science community and the rest of the world, and was used to support the search for alien life in the universe. Jerry himself says he's convinced that it certainly has the potential to be the first signal from extraterrestrial intelligence. Number 8.
See, they should have presented that in front of Congress as well. Come on, man, we got a lot of supporting facts.
Space music. Now, sound needs a medium to travel, and thus it cannot be heard in the vacuum of space, yet astronauts have returned to Earth with fascinating tales of hearing odd noises while in space, which is terrifying, by the way. During the Apollo 10 mission, which was a test run for sending the first men to the moon, astronauts were carrying various equipment with them, which was being tested to withstand space as they were deemed essential for the moon landing. While circling the moon, the astronauts on the vessel heard a certain whistling sort of music. Now, the music lasted for almost an hour and creeped the living daylights out of the astronauts. One of them described the sound as sort of otherworldly music. On returning to Earth, the astronauts struggled for a while on whether or not to tell NASA and the rest of the world about what they experienced. Now later, astronaut Michael Collins, who was a part of the Apollo 11 mission with Aldrin and Armstrong, revealed hearing similar music while on the moon's surface. Now NASA believed them and made the recording public that astronauts reported hearing in 1969 while on the far side of the moon, out of radio contact within Earth. Now NASA says the sounds could not have been alien music, but I think I have to disagree. An engineer from the US Space Agency said that the noises likely came from interference caused by radios that were close to each other in the lunar module and the command module, but I'd like to believe that it was aliens that made that noise. Number 7. Noise in the stratosphere. In 2023, strange sounds that were recorded high in the Earth's atmosphere had scientists baffled. A solar-powered balloon mission detected a repeating infrasound noise in the stratosphere, and scientists don't know what's making it. A solar-powered balloon mission launched by researchers from Sandia National Laboratories carried a microphone to a region of Earth's atmosphere found 31 miles above the planet called the stratosphere. The region is relatively calm and free of storms, turbulence, and commercial air traffic, meaning microphones in this layer of the atmosphere can eavesdrop on the sounds of our planet, both natural and human-made. However, the microphone in this particular study also heard strange sounds that repeated a few times per hour. Their source has yet to be identified. The sounds were recorded in the infrasound range, meaning they were at frequencies of 20 Hz and lower, well below the range of the human ear. There are mysterious infrasound signals that occur a few times per hour on some flights, but the source of these is completely unknown, Daniel Bowen of Sandia National Laboratories said in a statement.
See, why doesn't that type of stuff get brought up when we're talking to Congress or whomever? You know what I mean? When we're accusing the Pentagon, why doesn't this type of stuff get brought up? This is definitely stuff to add to the case. But it seems like we allowed them to steer us in their direction of what we want to talk about. No, we got a plethora of things that we could just put on the table, like cashing all our chips in Texas Hold'em. We could go all in.
6. Pisces and Aries radio signal. A radio signal was received 3 times from the same region of space in February 2003. Astronomers with the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence SETI project used a massive telescope in Puerto Rico to re-examine 200 sections of the sky, which had all previously yielded unexplained radio signals. Now, these signals had all disappeared except for one, which had become stronger. The signal's widely thought to be the best candidate yet for alien contact and comes from a spot between the constellations Pisces and Aries, where there are no obvious stars or planets. Curiously, the signal is at one of the frequencies that hydrogen, the most common element, absorbs and emits energy. Some astronomers believe that this is a very likely frequency at which aliens wishing to be noticed would transmit. Nevertheless, there is a good chance that the signal is from a never-seen-before natural phenomenon, but I'd like to think that it's aliens. Number 5. Mysterious signals from a distant galaxy. The Chime Observatory found 13 FRBs, and among it was a very unusual repeating signal coming from the same source about 1.5 billion light years away. Such an event has only been reported once before by a different telescope. Knowing there is another suggests that there could be more out there, said Ingrid Stairs, an astrophysicist from the University of British Columbia. And with more repeaters and more sources available for study, we may be able to understand these cosmic puzzles, where they're from and what causes them. The telescope detected 13 of the radio bursts almost immediately, including the repeater. The research has now been published in the journal Nature, and we have discovered a second repeater, and its properties are very similar to the first repeater. This tells us more about the properties of repeaters as a population, said Saharsh Tenkur of McGill University, Canada. Number 4. Radio signal heartbeat. Astronomers at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology have picked up on repetitive radio signals from a galaxy billions of light years away from Earth. Scientists have not been able to pinpoint the exact location of the radio waves yet, but the signals have been occurring steadily and last up to 3 seconds. Most fast radio bursts only last a few milliseconds. Now, within this window, the team detected the burst of radio waves that repeat every 0.2 seconds in a clear periodic pattern similar to a beating heart, MIT said in a statement. On December 21st, 2019, researchers at the Dominant Radio Astrophysical Observatory in British Columbia, Canada, picked up a signal of a potential FRB, according to the MIT statement. Not only was it very long, lasting about 3 seconds, but there were periodic peaks that were remarkably precise, emitting every fraction of a second, boom boom boom, like a heartbeat, said Danielle Michelli, a postdoctoral researcher in the Massachusetts Institute of Technology Calvi Institute for Astrophysics and Space Research. This is the first time the signal itself is periodic. Data on the bursts, including their frequency and how they change based on where the source is located in proximity to Earth, could help researchers determine what speed the universe is expanding. Number 3. Bright, quick blasts of radio waves. Repeating bursts of energy seem to be coming from an ancient group of stars called the Glober Cluster, which is among the last places astronomers expected to find them.
Anytime I hear someone talking about a signal or a heartbeat or something, I automatically think of a star. I think of a star exploding and turning into something, maybe a supernova or something like that happening, creating a black. That's where I be thinking mainly the sounds could possibly be coming from. You know what I mean? But it's way more things out there that could potentially produce a sound. I got to get my mind away from just thinking it's stars.
Often originating billion of light years away, the extremely bright, extremely brief bursts of radio waves, known as the fast radio bursts or FRBs, have defied explanation since they were first spotted in 2007. Based on observations to date, scientists surmise that the bursts are powered by young, short-lived cosmic objects. But a fast radio burst discovered has now been traced to a globular cluster about 11.7 million light years away, near the neighboring spiral galaxy M81. Now, to put it in perspective, finding this burst among a cluster of aging stars is kinda like finding a smartphone embedded in Stonehenge. The observation doesn't make sense. Brian Gensler, an astronomer at the University of Toronto, said this is definitely not a place where fast radio bursts are expected to live. Scientists are struggling to explain the cosmic anchorism. They're also moving forward to the conclusion that maybe, as with many other celestial phenomena, there is multiple ways to cook up a fast radio burst. Number 2. Bursts of energy. While mapping radio waves across the universe, astronomers found a celestial object releasing giant bursts of energy unlike anything they've ever seen before. The spinning object, spotted in March 2018, beamed out radiation 3 times per hour. In these moments, it became the brightest source of radio waves viewable from Earth, acting like a celestial lighthouse. A study on the discovery was published in the journal Nature, and lead study author Natasha Hurley-Walker, an astrophysicist at the Curtin University node of the International Center for Radio Astronomy and Research, said this object was appearing and disappearing over a few hours during her observations. That was completely unexpected. It was kinda spooky for an astronomer because there's nothing known in the sky that does that, and it's really quite close to us, about 4,000 light years away. It's in our galactic backyard. Now, Curtin University student Tyrone O'Doherty made the unusual discovery while using the Murchison Wide Field Array, aka the MWA telescope, in the outback of Western Australia. Tyrone said, "It's exciting that the source I identified last year has turned out to be such a peculiar object. The MWA's wide field of view and extreme sensitivity are perfect for surveying the entire sky and detecting the unexpected." And coming in at number 1 is the farthest radio signal from a galaxy. Astronomers using the radio telescope in India have captured the most distant ever radio signal from a galaxy. Now, the signal came from a galaxy called SDSS J0826 plus 5630 that exists 8.8 billion light years away. That essentially means that it exists closer to the Big Bang than any other galaxy previously detected using radio astronomy. A galaxy emits different kinds of radio signals, said Arnab Chakraborty, a postdoctoral researcher who studies cosmology at the Department of Physics at McGill University in Montreal, Canada. Until now, it's only been possible to capture this particular signal from a galaxy nearby, limiting our knowledge to those galaxies closer to Earth. The researchers from both Montreal and India used the giant meter wave radio telescope in Pune, India to capture the signal at a specific wavelength called the 21 centimeter line. The signal from the galaxy was emitted when the universe was only 4.9 billion years old, but because the universe is expanding, it took 8.8 billion years to reach the telescope. This breakthrough proves that it's possible to observe faraway galaxies using existing low-frequency radio telescopes. This will help us understand the composition of galaxies at much greater distances from Earth, said Arnab.
The International Space Station stands as a testament to humanity's insatiable curiosity and the power of international collaboration. It is an orbiting laboratory that serves as a symbol of scientific exploration, technological innovation, and the unifying spirit of nations. The ISS is a joint venture between space agencies from various countries. Its construction began in 1998 and was completed in 2011, marking an unprecedented feat of engineering and cooperation. Located approximately 408 kilometers above Earth's surface, the International Space Station orbits our planet at a speed of roughly 28,000 kilometers per hour. It serves as a microgravity environment where astronauts conduct experiments in fields such as biology, physics, astronomy, and human physiology. Interestingly, in recent years, some strange discoveries have been made close to the International Space Station, which has caused some to conduct further research.
Not just some, a lot of things has been either docking or passing by or coming across. Yeah, we've seen a lot. And they gotta stop turning off the camera feeds, please.
One of these was a strange object that could be seen matching the space station's speed, which some described as being several miles in length. Those who were watching the live cam said that they caught a glimpse of something unusual.
That looked like a movie.
Many immediately took screenshots of the event and stated that an unidentified object could be seen on the live camera. The long object stood out against the clouds, with those who watched it saying that its movements became more deliberate and purposeful, as if it was keeping up with the space station. Suddenly, the mysterious object slowly started to rise up towards the International Space Station, all while keeping up with the space station's speed. As of right now, not much else is known about this object, but those who are interested in the unknown have said that this isn't the first time that something like this has been seen close to the International Space Station, and it's for this reason that many watch these live cameras in the hopes of spotting something unusual.
Yep.
Over the years, numerous reports and observations have emerged regarding unidentified objects spotted in close proximity to the space station. These sightings have sparked curiosity and speculation among both astronauts and the public, raising intriguing questions about the nature and origin of these mysterious phenomena. One of the earliest reported sightings of a strange object near the space station occurred in 2014, when Italian astronaut Samantha Cristoforetti captured an intriguing image during her stay on the space station. The photograph showed a blurry, diamond-shaped object outside the window, leaving many wondering about its nature. Astronauts are trained observers with extensive knowledge of space debris and common celestial objects, making these sightings even more intriguing. Since then...
So let me get this straight. You see something out of the norm, something strange. The first thing you do is think to grab and take a picture or get a selfie? No, mission over. Take me home.
Numerous reports of strange sightings near the International Space Station have surfaced, with astronauts describing unusual objects, lights, or anomalies during their missions. These sightings range from brief glimpses to more sustained observations, and they often involve objects that exhibit flight patterns or characteristics beyond the capabilities of known spacecraft or space debris. Several possibilities have been put forth to understand the nature of these encounters. One hypothesis revolves around the potential presence of secret military experiments or advanced aerospace technologies. Given the classified nature of some projects, it is conceivable that these sightings could involve prototypes or advanced aircraft operating near the vicinity of the space station. However, such claims require credible evidence to support them. Furthermore, it is important to acknowledge that human perception and interpretation can sometimes be influenced by psychological factors. In the vast and unfamiliar environment of space, the mind may seek to find patterns or familiar shapes, leading to misinterpretations of visual stimuli. While many
So
sightings...
they're basically trying to imply while you up there in space, your mind could be playing tricks on you. I would definitely play that song while I'm up there, but your mind can essentially mess with you and cause you to see things that aren't there. Okay, all right, I get that.
Sightings near the space station can be explained by natural or human-made phenomena. A small percentage of cases remain unexplained, leaving room for further investigation and scientific inquiry. Recognizing the significance of these observations, space agencies and organizations are beginning to pay closer attention to such encounters. In recent years, there has been a shift in how governments and scientific institutions approach the study of mysterious sightings. Initiatives such as the US Department of Defense's Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program and the establishment of dedicated task forces aim to collect and analyze data related to encounters, including those observed near the International Space Station. By systematically collecting data, applying rigorous scientific methodologies, and utilizing advanced technologies, scientists and researchers hope to uncover the truth behind these intriguing sightings. The goal is to separate credible observations from misidentifications, optical illusions, or conventional explanations.
Odd radio circles in the sky a genuine mystery. You might be familiar with UFO sightings and crop circles, but have you ever heard of a radio circle? In September of 2019, researcher Anna Kopinska delivered a presentation of objects she had discovered in the astronomical skies. There were a number of odd things that Kopinska recorded. These objects did not seem to fit into any category she was familiar with, and quickly began noting down their characteristics. One of these objects was an image of what appears to be a strange circle of radio emissions. Similar in appearance to a ghost's ectoplasm, the spooky sphere was unlike anything Kapinska and her colleagues had seen before.
How is that even possible?
Amazingly, just a few days after the discovery, one of Kapinska's colleagues, Emil Lenk, discovered another. The team decided to name them ORCs, standing for Odd Radio Circles. The discoveries had been made thanks to the Evolutionary Map of the Universe, or EMU, project. The project is run with CSIRO's Australian Square Kilometre Array Pathfinder, or ASCAP telescope. The EMU project is tasked with peering into and plotting vast swathes of the observable universe that we have yet to see. The ASCAP telescope is well suited to this, and it can cover much greater ranges of the skies than other telescopes, and can take images at much greater distances. Since the project was centered on areas of space that had yet to be observed, the researchers expected to find something during the run of the project. Surprisingly, these strange radio circles were found almost immediately, and were found manually by the team. The team confirmed that the objects weren't just a glitch in the telescope's imaging software by using other telescopes to look at the same astronomical position. Puzzlingly, the scientists are unable to determine just how large the ORCs are, and what distance they are from Earth. Ray Norris, one of the team's researchers, said they could be objects in our galaxy perhaps a few light years across, or they could be far away in the universe and maybe millions of light years across. For now, the only thing that the team knows is what the ORCs are not. The team managed to rule out a number of possible causes for the circles, including remnants of supernovae, evidence of galaxy formation, and Einstein rings. What is so exciting about this discovery is that the team themselves described it as a genuine mystery. Many astronomers dream to discover something so unlike anything we know to exist in the observable universe. But now they are discovered, the real work begins in trying to decipher what exactly these strange rings are and how they fit into the complex landscape of the universe.
And I like how they're just so calm about it. Like, my mind automatically goes to, okay, what could this potentially do to our planet? Is this gonna end it? Is this showing up right here? What does it mean? What can it do? Like, we gotta where's the urgency?
China's moon trip reveals surprisingly recent volcanic activity. Moon samples had not been gathered and tested since the 1970s. Until now. A recent Chinese space mission to the moon brought back 2 kilograms of moon rocks that suggest our moon had lunar lava activity which once occurred upon its surface. The Chang'e 5 lander landed in the Oceanus Procellarum moon region, which is the moon's volcanic plain. Chang'e 5 then rendezvoused with its mother vessel and safely returned to the Chinese space station's land point in the Inner Mongolia region of China. These samples, when analysed, showcased that the volcanic properties were only about 2 billion years old, opposed to the 4 billion the USSR and NASA's scientists found the moon volcanic plains to be when they analysed the moon missions of the 1960s and 70s. Planetary scientist from the University of Manchester, Catherine Joy, states, "This is the youngest ever lava flow dated from the moon." The samples gathered by Chang'e 5 might have finally revealed to us the mysterious in-between of lunar geology, something researchers have been struggling with for decades. This discovery is a great step in improving our understanding of the formation and history of solar systems, moons, and planets. This finding heavily suggests, if not outright proves, that the moon's volcanic activity was far more recent than we initially believed. The youth of these samples shows that as early as 2 billion years ago, the moon had active molten lava upon its surface. Lava, by its definition, is when magma is propelled to the surface of a celestial body from a planet or moon's core in an eruption. Lava leaves behind basaltic rock after it dries, and this is what the Oceanus Procellarum of the moon is, dried lava. It's thought the past volcanic eruption must have been intense given the large-scale area of the Procellarum. If we manage to uncover the exact age of the Oceanus Procellarum, we will be able to determine the geological moments of our solar system's formation using the dating of the moon's surface, craters, and rocks. By doing this, Scientists will be able to use the same technique on planets such as Mars by counting and dating its craters and comparing them. Dates that align will show us a story of our solar system long before humanity came into being. The current mystery, however,
something else to just completely destroy the whole Big Bang theory,
is what might have caused volcanism on our moon and its surface during the time period in which Oceanus Procellarum was forming. According to Dr. Joy, the amount of magma being generated dropped off quickly, which means that it cooled as quickly as the lava formed. Researchers believe that radioactive components, thorium, uranium, and potassium, might have caused the heat that resulted in the volcanic activity. Oddly enough, however, not a trace of radioactive materials were found in the analysis of the Chang'e 5 lunar rocks. An alternative theory is that the gravity of the Earth lent heat to the moon. According to planetary scientist Alexander Nemchin, 2 billion years ago, the moon was significantly closer to Earth, maybe halfway closer than it is now, so this effect was probably amplified quite significantly. Scientists hope that the future will grant us greater research and understanding of the timeline of the solar system. The James Webb Telescope proves it can detect alien life. One of the biggest aims of astronomers, researchers, and scientists studying the galaxy and the entire universe is finding signs of life, whether that be on other planets or the moons that orbit them. Working under the belief that the existence of water can be linked with the existence of any life form, scientists have continued their searches by concerning themselves with the task of detecting the existence of water on Mars or Jupiter's moon, Europa. However, finding water and indeed life outside of our Earth is a very difficult and extraneous task because of the long distances and all the technology that would be required to send a single probe out to find and bring back samples. Using theoretical calculations, astronomers have estimated that there are possibly about 300 million planets with the potential to be inhabited with life in the Milky Way alone.
Wait. Did he just say 300 million planets with the potential? But no, everybody's quick to stand on, we're alone. 300, oh my God, man. Just stop talking to me. When people should just stop talking. Don't talk to me about, there's no other life forms. Just stop.
These planets are the same size as the Earth and have similar qualities that lead the astronomers and scientists to estimate that there is a chance that the planets are habitable. Yet, this information can only do so much, and researchers must use other tools and methods to glean further insight into these planets and the likelihood of their habitability. One such method is what is often referred to as looking for the biosignature. What this means is that astrobiologists study how starlight interacts with the different planets, or more specifically, the surface or atmosphere of those planets. If the surface or atmosphere of a planet contains evidence of life, the starlight will reveal that through a biosignature. Each time light bounces off a material object or passes through any kind of gas, certain wavelengths of that light will either be contained within the object or gas, while other wavelengths will be emitted back out. This is how anything has color, for example. Plants are green because chlorophyll keeps the wavelengths of red and blue, but releases the wavelengths of green. The color that you see is the color that is not contained within whatever thing you are looking at. In the same way, scientists can guess whether a planet has life or not by looking specifically at the colors that are reflected when starlight hits the surface or atmosphere. A way to think about this is our own Earth. In the first half of its existence, it only had a faint biosignature, because while there was some single-cell organisms of life on its surface, it did not yet have oxygen in its atmosphere. That changed when algae evolved and released oxygen into the air, causing the Earth's biosignature to alter and become much more prominent and visible. Likewise, a planet that develops life or contains life on its surface will likely be detectable depending on the strength of its biosignature. Detecting the biosignatures of planets can be difficult due to various restrictions and limitations of technology and distance, which is why this new discovery by the James Webb Space Telescope is so exciting. Since beginning science operations in July 2022, this telescope has also detected water and clouds on a gas giant exoplanet. This data means that James Webb is capable of detecting the faint chemical signatures that come from other planets and will therefore be able to aid scientists in their search for life on other planets. And while the telescope was not specifically built for this task, its ability to detect biosignatures is a huge leap forward in searching for life on planets closer to home. But what do you make of these recent discoveries?
Man, y'all spam that like button. God, I love this stuff.